How Much Land Does a Man Need? By Leo Tolstoy. Pahom was a peasant who farmed a small piece of land. He was not poor, but he was not rich either. One day, his wife and her sister argued about which was better, life in the busy town or life in the quiet country. As Pahom listened, he thought to himself, "If I only had enough land, I would not fear anyone, not even the devil." But the devil was sitting behind the stove, and he heard these words. "Good," the devil thought, "we shall see. I will give you plenty of land, and through that land, I will take you." Soon a chance came. Some land near Pahom's village was for sale, and he scraped together every coin he had to buy a few acres of his own. He was proud and happy. But once he owned land, new troubles began. His neighbor's cattle wandered into his fields and ruined his crops, and he grew angry and quarreled with the very people he had once called friends. The more he owned, the more he wanted. Then a traveler told Pahom about a faraway place where rich black soil was almost free, with land for everyone. Pahom sold his farm and moved his family there, and indeed he became 10 times richer than before. Yet even this did not satisfy him. He wanted his own private land, not rented strips, and he dreamed of growing wheat and becoming truly wealthy. At last he heard of the Bashkirs, a simple people who lived far out on the open steppe and had more land than they could ever use. Pahom traveled to them with gifts of tea and presents. The Bashkirs welcomed him warmly and offered to sell him land at a strange and wonderful price. "For 1,000 rubles, their chief said, "you may have as much land as you can walk around in a single day. You start at sunrise, and you must return to your starting point before the sun sets. Whatever ground you circle on foot is yours. But if you do not return in time, you lose your money and get nothing." Pahom could hardly sleep that night. In the deep of the night, he fell into a strange dream. He saw himself lying dead upon the ground, while close by someone sat laughing. He looked again, and saw it was the Bashkir chief. Then the chief became the traitor who had told him of this rich land, and at last the traitor became the devil himself, the same devil who had once sat behind the stove, roaring with laughter beside Pahom's lifeless body. Pahom woke in terror, but the morning light soon chased the dream away, and he thought only of the wide land he would win. Before dawn, he stood on a small hill with the Bashkir chief, who placed his fur cap on the ground to mark the starting point. As the sun rose, Pahom set off across the wide plain, digging little holes and marking his path. The morning was cool, and he walked quickly, taking in more and more land. "Just a little farther," he kept telling himself. He saw good soil, a fine meadow, a low valley, and each time he could not bear to leave it out. He walked far past noon before he finally turned to begin the long way back. By now the sun was sinking, and Pahom realized he had gone much too far. He began to run, his chest burning, his legs shaking. He threw away his coat, his boots, his flask, keeping only the spade to lean on. The hill seemed so far away, and the sun dropped lower and lower. With his last strength he ran, blood pouring into his throat, terrified he would lose everything. The Bashkirs on the hill were shouting and waving, cheering him on. But on the hilltop sat the chief, holding his sides and laughing, exactly as the devil had laughed in the dream. In that instant, Pahom remembered the dream and understood it all. As the very last edge of the sun touched the earth, he reached the hill and fell forward, his hands touching the cap. "Ha ha! What a fine fellow! He has won much land," said the chief, still laughing. But Pahom did not move. His servant ran to lift him and found that blood flowed from his mouth. Pahom was dead. His servant picked up the spade and dug a grave. In the end, all the land that Pahom needed was just 6 feet of earth, from his head to his heels.